Hey Fit Fam, welcome to Life Beyond Your Finish Line. I'm your host, Orlandina Ballin, aka The Fitter Woman. I'm a women's physique pro with the International Federation of Bodybuilding. I'm an educator, I'm a motivator, and the people's holistic lifestyle coach. Today's guest, Ian Highsmith, is living proof that it's never too late to turn your life around. From running while addicted to running towards purpose, Ian has gone from homelessness to addiction to chasing one of the world's greatest endurance achievement, the Abbott World Marathon Majors. He's now a coach and the voice behind a podcast that inspires others to choose a new path, 1 mile at a time. Welcome to the studio, Ian.
Thank
It's
you
such
for
a
having
pleasure
me.
to have you.
That was beyond a great intro.
Thank you.
How did you do that?
I sat
Where did you
down.
get that information from?
Listen, I spoke to you and then I did some digging of my own. I watch your podcast.
No one knows all that stuff.
I
Gosh,
did. I did some digging.
man.
I did my homework.
All right.
My viewers know, my listeners know, I love to do homework.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Last night, I couldn't even sleep. I'm tossing and turning, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm ready to rock and roll.
You ready to rock?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get right into it. When did you first fall in love with running? Because you're now an ultra runner. I had to look up what that meant, by the way.
Okay.
An
yes.
ultra runner versus a marathon runner.
Okay.
Then I saw that there was a difference between the two.
There's a
And
difference.
there's a difference. So can you please tell our listeners what's the difference between an ultra runner and a marathon runner?
Okay, a marathon runner is someone who competed in an event of 26 miles or 42 kilometers. All right, an ultra runner is someone who's competed in a distance of 50K, which is 31 miles. I'm an ultra runner, baby.
He's an ultra runner. Ultra. So when did you first fall in love with running?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So I ran in high school. Now, I was a 3-time gold medalist in the 200, 400, and 800.
Wow.
And it was something about getting on that line and competing with others. Whether you're in my school or another school, I just love the competition.
I love that. And because I'm like, it's really hard for people to run. I did like a little bit of running, but not like you. Like I ran to stay fit. It's part of my conditioning for bodybuilding, but nowhere what you've done. So I find it amazing.
Thank you.
And you've been so honest. Whenever you watch his podcast, the Ian Running podcast, tune in. You got to check him out on YouTube. You've been really honest about starting drugs in high school.
Yeah.
What pulled you into that world so that our listeners know what to look out for themselves and what to look out for in their own children?
Yeah, I was immature, young kid. I said I was a 3-time gold medalist, which I was, but I was walking to track meet high under the influence of marijuana. That's just what I did. And it didn't stop. And I tell people now, you have an option. You can get fit, get healthy, put more years on the earth, and have more time with your family. I'm going to choose that option every time. But there was a time I didn't think like that. And I know we're going to talk more about that in my story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think, and I think it's really big for you to say that word, you have a choice. A lot of people feel like they don't have choices in life and they're kind of forced into certain situations. But as you said, it is a choice. And we'll get back into that a little bit later. When did you realize that your addictive personality was driving those choices?
Let me tell you something. Track practice. I'm going to go to track practice, every track practice. I'm going to run after track practice because I want to be the best. And you know what? When it's the weekend time, I'm going to smoke more weed than anybody. I'm going to drink more alcohol than anybody. I have, some people call it the isms. I have to do it to the extreme. And unfortunately, it was my downfall. And I know we're going to talk more about that, but I have an addictive personality. As you see, I've been running for over 20 years. I've been running since high school, which was many, many years ago. And I'm still running today. In fact, I ran from, if you guys know the area, I ran from Hofstra University to Central Park. 21 miles today, and I woke up, I believe, 1 a.m. I ran at 2 o'clock, and I was a 4 hour run. I ran about 11:50 a mile,
Wow. Wow.
and I love it.
Everybody else was sleeping at 1 a.m. Ian is up and getting himself ready for his run.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people view an addictive or an obsessive personality in a negative way. It can be seen as a negative, and we know that. But to have an obsession or to be addicted to something in a positive way is also something to be considered. What do you think about that? Do you feel that that obsession has now led to this desire to run these long distances?
Yeah, I would say my addictive personality, every milestone, I get obsessed.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm not where I want to be. So 21st birthday, oh, I gotta do better. I gotta do something to be the man that I know I can be.
Mm.
And it all started, or I maintained my fitness with the gym. 25 years old, I gotta get my ish together. And that's when I started to increase my distance running.
Mm.
All right. I started entering 5Ks, half marathoners, and that addictive personality just kept me driving, and wanting more, all the way up to a marathoner.
That is
So
amazing.
when it comes to addictive personality, it can be good in some ways.
Mhm.
But again, while I was running, while I'm signing up for 5Ks, while I'm running half marathoners, I'm on my 10th mile contemplating on smoking a cigarette.
Mm.
And there's something I need to be studied.
Because to take that to take that addictive personality and go in one, it's like you're going positive and unknown at the same time with that personality.
Agree 100%.
So at some point, as you were getting older, you decided to join the military. What was that like, and how did it shift when you were discharged?
I joined the military. I was in the army. I was stationed in Germany, and still running. It's
Yeah.
I ran my entire life, but it was a little bit different because I was stationed in Germany. I'm running up the mountains, and it was, you had to have some discipline in taking authorities and following the chain of command, and it makes sense. But at that time, I wasn't mature at all.
Mm. So you're
It,
maturing.
I'm definitely
Maturing.
maturing. If you ask me to go back in the military, or what I would do with this brain in the
Mhm.
military now, I'll take over the whole military in
Mm.
a positive way.
In a positive way. I like that.
100%.
So, can you talk about at what point when you hit rock bottom? Because you always hear that story about I hit rock bottom.
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom, you found yourself in a shelter. How did that begin to
How you
change?
know that?
Listen, I told you I did my homework.
In a
So,
shelter.
in a shelter,
Oh, I've been there.
you know, and to can you
Hmm.
explain what that experience was like?
Of
Because you
course.
said something
Yeah.
you said something interesting.
Hmm.
You said I always thought that the shelter was just full of drug addicts and
Drug addicts.
bums and things like
Bums.
that, but you found out otherwise. People don't realize that shelters are also filled with people who've just fallen on hard times and
100%.
families with children. They're not
Hmm.
all bums. Can you explain how that began to change your
Of
experience?
course. And so, like I said, I ran my entire life. So as I'm training for a half marathon, I injured my leg. Um, Me being immature, me using money only for my apartment and weed and alcohol. I had no money saved. So when I was injured and working as a personal trainer, I was unable to have income, unable to have pay rent, forced in a shelter. So I'm in a shelter with a torn Achilles tendon, and like you said, my thought process on who lived in the shelter was crackheads, bums,
Mhm.
and gangsters. But then I'm here with the long hair and the six pack, and I say, hey, I don't belong here, or do I? From that day forward, I knew not to judge a book by its cover. Because when you look at me there, you can't say, oh, he's a cracker, he's a bum. I'm neither of those things. But like you said, I fell on hard times. And it's such a
Yes.
humbling experience. And I'm glad that I went through that and had that up here to develop the man that sits here with you now, get an interview.